Do you feel like you're down and out and there's no way out, my friends? If you do, I want to give you some hope and encouragement. Keep pushing because it ain't over till it's over. I was in your position years ago when my CEO called me into his office and he told me, Phil, this is your last day, just out of the blue, from nowhere. Pack your bags, pack your box, pack your belongings. We want you out by 5. Imagine my shock, horror when he told me this. Browbeaten and disgusted and feeling busted and beat up, I went to my office and packed my belongings one by one. And at that point, I had no idea how I was going to survive. After all, I had 2 kids at that point. I had a newborn. I needed insurance. I needed protection for my family, and there was none. Because after a while, everything was going to stop. Now, imagine how I felt at that point, maybe like how some of you felt. Beaten, disgusted, and busted. But as the weeks and the days rolled on, I began to think about my life from a more strategic viewpoint. I realized that I needed to do something different, so I went for job interviews, interview after interview, knocking on doors. I remember going to CVS Caremark in Scottsdale, Arizona, feeling like, yeah, this is it. This is that interview. This is the one that will redefine my career. Only to be told, sorry, you didn't make it. I knocked on another door, and I kept knocking on doors for 9 whole months. At the end of 9 months, the handwriting was on the wall. The plan B that I had been thinking about all along as another ramp for me to escape is what I implemented full force. I decided to become a project management trainer, coach, and mentor. So, I paid what was needed. I was down to my last $2,000 and not on my debit card, on my credit card, my friends. And when I tell you every dark cloud has a silver lining, believe what I'm telling you because it does. In the darkest hour when I couldn't understand how I was going to pay for the house that I had just purchased 2 years ago, I realized I needed to reinvent myself by training, coaching, and mentoring because I had tried applying for jobs and nothing came through. I paid the dues to the Project Management Institute to become a registered education provider. And that afforded me an opportunity through a request for proposal from a well-known financial institution on the East Coast. They were interested in my risk management training offer. And I was able to win that gig, and off to New Jersey, Parsippany I went. My head held high, my chest out, my shoulders held high, and I checked into a Hampton there, and that night I began to craft the beginnings of my first live training offering. I ran laps around the block, got into peak physical condition like I was going to battle and going for war. Little did I know that this work ethic and this mindedness will later catapult me into unimaginable territory as a trainer and a coach and a mentor for various government entities like NASA and the FBI and the U.S. Army and the U.S. Air Force. It opened doors into companies, many of which you know, many companies too many to name. And after 15 years since that fateful day that I was kicked out of the corner office, I look back and I'm grateful. Because as Les Brown says, shoot for the moon. Because even if you miss, you land among the stars. I shot for the moon. It was ambitious. It was a big, hairy, audacious goal, but I took it head on, my friends. And as a result of me taking that challenge head on, building an off-ramp where there was none, redefining my career, I can tell you, if you're going through hell, keep going. And sooner than later, my friends, you'll be out of there. in a whole new world with new possibilities, new dimensions, new value for you, your loved ones, and your family. Take that bold step, whatever you are delaying on doing, my friends, whatever you are scared of doing, just like I was scared. I needed that security from the regular 9 to 5 in the conventional way. But some of you, your future is not in a 9 to 5. Your future is to redefine your 9 to 5. I encourage you. Seek for answers, my friends. But don't let that stop you from starting today. Start somewhere. Do what you may not have typically done. As one of my mentors, Paul Maldinelli, says, jump out of the building and grow your wings on the way down. You got to be bold. You got to try new things because you only live once. And as they say, life is short. It's too short. 100 years is too short to waste a year. One question I always ask my mentees is, what is your definite chief aim? What is your ultimate goal and purpose and dream in life? Because that is what you need to ultimately be pursuing. Everything should be a conduit to that end. Everything you're doing right now should be done with the mindedness that that is contributing to your overall definite chief aim. Have a mindset of being unstoppable. You cannot afford to give up. The world needs you. Even if it's 1 or 2 or 3 people that your message resonates with, my friends, that is enough purpose, enough reason to keep going. Don't give up. Whether your ideas are in science, art, business, whatever they are, keep pushing. Don't give up. Don't see your job as an end. See your job as part of the journey, part of your evolution, part of you learning to be the best version of yourself as you approach your definite chief aim. And you know what? When you do get to your definite chief aim, several times as I have, you redefine that purpose, you redefine that definite chief aim, because life is all about evolution. It's all about being agile. Darwin told us it's not the strongest of the species that survives or the most intelligent, but the one that is most adaptable to change. So I encourage you, live a mindset of adaptability. The only person you should be trying to outdo is yourself. Outdo your great performances from previous days. Keep pushing. Keep trucking, my friends. Never give up. Now, coming full circle and making it as pragmatic as possible, the question is, well, what do I do next, Phil? Do something unconventional. Do something different. Start a business. Be you in the world of sports, in the world of music, in the world of IT, in the world of medical, pharmaceutical. Use your imagination and harness the power of artificial intelligence to bounce ideas off tools like Gemini and GPT. Build tools with these GPTs and Geminis of this world because they're smarter than a lot of developers and coders, and they can give you ideas and also build tools and apps for you. Think about something totally unconventional. If you've worked in a regular business, a 9 to 5, and you've not ventured out into consulting, maybe it's time for you to consider consulting. Maybe it's time for you to knock on some doors and say, I am a consultant, I do XYZ, I have this amount of experience. Build your website. You got to lead your comeback, my friends. I would love for you to attend my program. It's called Lead Your Comeback. And if you Google it, you can find the book on Amazon, and you can also join my course by going to fed.pmsucceed.com. That's fed.pmsucceed.com. I would love to work with you towards building your definite chief aim and your ultimate success. I have 15 hours of training up on fed.pmsucceed.com. So join me and let's build your comeback together. All the very best. I'll see you on the other side.